We love
sugarcoat it.
hip-hop.
There was like a lot of issues that were going on the streets, right? Between like the Galloway boys and the Malvern crew. Now, from what I was watching in an interview, right, you say that media, that term, the Galloway boys, is like a term that was brought up by the media, or like putting you guys as organized crime. Was that like a media thing?
Yeah, that's a media thing. First of all, no one calls yourself Galloway boys.
Mm-hmm.
And first and foremost, overall, no one's not organized. There's no organized crime. Everybody does their own thing. We were criminals living a criminal lifestyle. There's no kickback to no pot. There's no, hey, let's gotta do this. There's none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Organized crime. I was 21 when I came to jail. So 21, they're saying I'm a boss of a criminal organization. Come on, man. There's no organization that ever exists in Galloway. I was a young criminal. I'm not gonna lie. I was a young criminal.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not no boss, and I was not no organized crime leader of anything.
Hope you're enjoying the video. Do me a quick favor while you're here and smash that like button so we can break the algorithm. And join the comment gang and subscribe. It's free.
That's crazy. So do you think that the media, or not the media, but like the authorities had like a target on you from the time that they deemed that you guys, or felt that you guys were quote unquote a gang?
Yeah, they put a target on me ASAP as soon as they deemed that. And then throughout, it's like they built all this shit stuff for me, right? And it's like, soon as they did that now, and they put me in prison for organized crime, and then also said that I did a murder to benefit a criminal organization, which never existed. So in terms of what it is. So now, if they're saying I jaywalked, or if I went in the store and I stole something, or I committed any crime, anything that I did as my own criminal act, they said was to benefit and to further a criminal organization which never existed in the first place.
Wow.
So when you do that now, my whole trial was a sham. I never got a fair trial in no shape, form, or fashion whatsoever. And they know it. Everybody knows it. But I'm still sitting here going through it. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
One guy who's a lying witness, his name is Roland Ellis, goes by the name of Sledge. Okay? For 5.5 years, this man was saying a man was present when he made his statement, For 5.5 years, he said, for example, Johnson was there. Johnson was there with us. Yeah, he was there when it happened. Johnson was there. Yeah, okay, for 5.5 years through 5 different statements, through a testimony under oath at preliminary hearing, he said that this man, Johnson, was there and he's part of it. He was there the whole time from the beginning, from the day I seen these guys in the vehicle, everything. He even said that Johnson walked over with him to a house and he's 100% sure. Remember, he's 100% sure. 100% sure means there's no doubt in your mind.
Yeah.
Right? So he's 100% sure that Johnson was there with him in the alley when we pulled up, when he said, me, my co-accused was on the street, and my other co-accused pulled up. He said the following, basically, he seen us pull up, and he was standing there. And when he was standing there with a guy named Johnson, a guy named whatever, Tatham, another guy, okay? Kareem, whatever. And then he says he's standing there. We pulled up in the vehicle on the day of the murder. At 6 p.m., we pulled up in a Pathfinder at the day of the murder. And when we pulled up, he said, I was driving and my co-accused was in the back seat, and the other co-accused who's on the street right now, who won his appeal, was in the passenger seat. So he said he came out the car and went with him, okay?
Right.
And me and my other co-accused in the back seat drove off, right? So when he's saying this now, he's saying, yeah, 100% sure I seen Mr. Riley. I seen these 2 men also with him. 100% I seen this. 100% sure, I'm sure that Mr. Wisdom jumped out the car and was with me in the alley. I'm 100% sure that this is what happened.
Right.
Cool. He said, I drove off, and him and Mr. Wisdom and Mr. Johnson walked over to a house on North Side, which they said was Smokey's house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he said when he got there, he arrived with Wisdom, Mr. Johnson, and when he got there with those two men, he also seen a guy named Burns, okay? So this is how his lie starts. His lie starts like this. So basically, that guy now, he never said anything about me in his original statement. His name is Sledge, Roland Ellis. Never said nothing about me. They got this guy and they went up to him and they asked him, do you know anything about this murder of March 3rd, 2004? It's on a video statement.
Right.
And he told them, no, I don't know anything about this murder. I know nothing about this murder, nothing whatsoever. All over a video statement. Okay. Then the camera goes off for about 45 minutes. Right? Then the camera comes back on 45 minutes later. All of a sudden, he knows everything about the murder. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But within him knowing everything about the murder, the cop said to him, okay, you know everything about, you know everything about the murder. Tell us what you know about the murder of on March 3rd, 2004. And he said, okay, this is what I know. Mr. Wisdom told me that he followed the Ross. He followed this dread, the Ross. And the guy has long dreads and they followed this guy and they shot this guy up. He said Mr. Wisdom told him that
Right.
he did it. But he didn't say, Mr. Wisdom never told him who was with him. He said he did it. Right? Cool. So now, when he's telling the police that in the statement now, the police are taking in the story, but they don't want Mr. Wisdom. They want me. So when they're telling him, tell us what you know, he's telling them about Mr. Wisdom. That's not what they want to hear.
Mm.
So then they stop him because he's rambling about everything Mr. Wisdom told him. He won't stop talking.
Right.
Then they stopped him and say, okay, we know what Mr. Wisdom told you. We know. What did Greasy do? So now he told them everything he knows about the murder. They asked him. He never mentioned anything about Greasy. Then they gave him direction and stopped him and said, no, okay, we know Wisdom. But what did Greasy do? What did Greasy say? So again, they interjected my name into his story. Right? Cool. Now he says that Greasy said that he was in front of a TV. He said that he was at a house, at Smokey's house, and we're watching the news on the TV. And they asked him, what did Greasy do? And he said, they said, what did Greasy say? He said, well, Greasy never said nothing.
Mm.
But he looked at the TV, and when he looked at the TV, he seen it was the wrong guys, and he shook his head. So he told them, I never said shit to him, and that's what he's saying. But also, that's false also. Again, now they go again. Okay, no. What else did Greasy tell you? What else did Greasy tell you? So they keep pushing him. And he's smart enough to know that, okay, they want Greasy. You feel me?
Right.
So then he goes as further to say, I seen him in the Pathfinder on the day of the murder. Mind you, everybody knows about the Pathfinder. It's all over the news. Everybody knows that Pathfinder was involved in a murder on March 3rd, 2004.
Mm.
They showed reenactment. They showed news clippings. So he says, oh, yeah, I seen him on the day of the murder. He pulled up in the alleyway. And that's now where we got to the story where we said they walked over to Smokey's house, right?
Right.
So, mind you, he walked over to Smokey's house with a man named Johnson, himself, and a man named Tatham. So he walks over there now. And when he walks over there now, he sees Burns at the house. And Burns is there too. Now, let me give you a fun fact of how to catch a liar and actually do the right thing when you catch a liar.
Mm-hmm.
So, Johnson, who we said was there 100% for 5.5 years in 5 different statements, under oath at preliminary hearing, and Burns, who we said was there for 5.5 years, 5 or 6 different statements, under oath at a preliminary hearing. Both of these guys have government records, official records that shows this guy's a liar. Mr. Johnson is in the East Detention. There's no way he could be in the alleyway on March 3rd, 2004. Impossible.
Right.
Unless the East Detention jail records don't know their records. Catch what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one. Two, Mr. Burns is in America. Air Canada has him on a flight going to America 2004, the end of February, and coming back 2004, the end of March. So it's impossible.
He wasn't even in the country.
In your story, it's impossible. Mind you, he said that CD told him that they followed a Ross. They followed a Ross. A Ross means what? Long hair, right? Long dreads. You can't mistake a Ross for a bald head guy, can you?
No. Well, a Ross would be a Rastafari or somebody with dreadlocks.
Okay. But you can't mistake a bald guy for a Rastafari, can you?
I wouldn't. I don't think so. Unless like there's something really wrong with my eyes, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So again, they said they said that we followed a Ross and we shot a Ross. That's what they said. He said also another Mr. Wilson said that we followed a Ross and shot a Ross. The guys in the car are bald-headed men.
Wow.
So if you're not catching a liar, I don't know what's happening in the world, right? And 19 years now in prison. 19 years now over these in-your-face lies, can't get away from. But you know what? We're gonna circumvent it because we need to convict these men. We have to. On any we don't care about the truth. We don't care about the truth. We just care about where they blew me up. I'm the most sickest man in the world. Galloway, this organized crime, and there's no way they can let me get away like that. Even though they have no evidence, and all the evidence is coming from liars who you know are lying, and they're lying factually, and they can't get away from them. Give you another fun fact. So at trial now, say 5.5 years later now, at trial, right? Mind you, we never told the Crown that we had this evidence of the two, one guy in America and one guy being the East Detention. You disclose that at trial, right?
Right.
So when we disclose that at trial now, we have to tell the Crown before the trial starts. Now when we get to trial now, we have to disclose the evidence that we have, right? The evidence is that these guys, we have government paperwork saying that these guys are lying because there's no way Mr. Johnson could be there and there's no way Burns could be there. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So now we disclose that to the Crown, okay? When we disclose that to them, they do what they do with it. Okay, now, at trial now, Roland Ellis goes on the stand at trial, okay? And for 5.5 years, and through 5 or 6 different statements, and under oath at a preliminary hearing, he been saying Mr. Johnson is there. Johnson is there, right? And he's saying Burns is there. He's been saying that the whole time. He stuck to it. That's what he's saying. Now, so let me ask you a question. Do you think your memory would be more refreshed 5.5 years earlier when the incident was fresh, or would it be refreshed 5.5 years later?
Right when it first happened, it would be more fresh.
Okay. So now, Mr. Ellis goes on the stand now. And the lawyer says, hey, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you about Mr. Johnson or whatever. He says, oh, hold on 1 second. I want to fix one thing. I want to fix something. Whoa, hold on. I want to ask you a question. No. I want to fix something. What do you have to fix? Oh, you remember when I said Mr. Johnson was there? Now I'm 100% sure Mr. Johnson was not there.
Shout out to our sponsors, Astro Pink, always coming with that loud. Check them out on their website, myastropink.com, or you can hit them up on Instagram at astro_pink. If you know, you know.
I kid you not. I kid you not. Remember, why would you come here today in the trial and say all of a sudden Mr. Johnson was not there and you're 100% sure now he was not there after you've been saying this for 5.5 years consistently? What makes you come here today and also remember that you lied? He's like, well, no, I remember now. So your memory is more better now than it was back then? He said, yeah. He said, yeah. And now he said he's 100% sure that Mr. Johnson was not there. So the lawyer asked him, hold on, did the Crown tell you anything? Did the Crown? No. Oh, so the Crown never told you nothing. How do you come here today? Where did you hear anything? Did anybody tell you? Remember, don't quote me on these specific words right here, right?
Sure.
Did anybody here tell you today, did the Crown prosecutor, did anybody tell you that whatever? He's like, no. So you just came here today and just all of a sudden remembered now all of a sudden that Mr. Johnson was not there. He said, yeah. So my lawyer said, you're a liar. You're lying. Is it fair to say you're lying? You know, every lawyer's highlight in their cross-examination as a defense lawyer is to get the witness to admit they lied, right?
Right.
That's her number one goal. Why a defense lawyer cross-examines a witness. To get the purpose of, you know what? He lied. Right? So now the lawyer is badgering him saying, yo, you're a liar. You lied. Ray. Now the man admits the lie, my brother. He admits the lie, my brother. He says, yes, I lied. Brother, what happens next? I don't know what world this happens in, what courthouse this is supposed to happen in, how they get away with this stuff. The judge stops the lawyer in the middle of his cross-examination. Stops. Turns his chair to a 26-year-old grown man and asks the man, do you know the meaning of a lie? She's trying to throw the guy a bone to save him.
Right.
He goes, don't know the meaning of a lie? I tell you, the guy Roland Ellis looks at him like, stunned. Like, do you know the meaning of a lie? He's like, yeah. Then he goes, do you, then he didn't let the man say his word that he knows the meaning of a lie. He goes, because he's going to say, yeah, because he does know the meaning of a lie. It's a grown man. Right? So he goes, okay, did you know you were lying at the time when you said that? So obviously, he just threw Roland Ellis a bone, and Roland Ellis goes, no, I never knew I was lying at the time when I said that. Brother, what the yo? Pardon me right now, but this I don't understand this stuff.
That's crazy. So it's like almost like the judge was leading the witness.
The judge helped the Crown because the judge is pro-Crown. Everything he did in this case was showing clearly that he's on the Crown side. He's an ex-Crown. He's on the Crown side. All his whole actions was giving the Crown everything they wanted, fixing everything for them, and even suggesting to them how to run their case. He's supposed to be a principal. He's not supposed to be the student. He's not even the teacher. He's supposed to be the higher up, taking in from the student and the teacher what's going on. But now he's playing everything. So he threw him a bone and says, oh, you didn't know you were lying at the time when you said that. The judge knows he's lying. Why is the judge doing that? And then he goes, no, I didn't know I was lying when you said that. What? Hey, I kid you not. When he said he lied in front of the jury, it was over. Then they kicked the jury out. They called the jury back in. And the judge told the jury to disregard Roland Ellis saying that he lied.
Wow.
This shit gives me anxiety, brother.
So let me ask you a question, Ty. Like, is this the first time that any of this information has been put out there publicly, that like what was happening in the courtroom?
On my side.
Mm.
They write anything in paper. Mr. Riley's this, Mr. Riley is that. He's a bad man. He does this, he does that. They could tell you everything on paper. You could paint a picture a million different ways. Right? But now you're hearing from me because I sat here and I went through the system way. Okay, I got railroaded at trial. Okay, let me have faith in the appeal because they have to see the truth. They have to see it.
Yeah.
There's no way they can't see the truth. There's no way they can't see it. Mind you, we even got something called fresh evidence that shows that the tactics that the police used on me they use it in an investigative tool. They never use it to arrest me like what they said they did.
Yeah, because they did an emergency wiretap.
Yeah, they did an emergency wiretap on me, and they used that as an investigative tool. So the emergency wiretaps sounds like the name, what it's called.
Yeah.
Emergency. So emergency means existing circumstances. I have no time. Urgent. They got an emergency wiretap on me, but they didn't use it for the purpose that what it was designed for.
Right.
They use it for as an investigative tool to get evidence and to further the corrupted case against me. Right? So we applied with a Fresh Evidence Act because at my trial, maybe it's my trial lawyer's fault or the fault of all of the lawyers, is that they never properly went through the methodical, what's the word I'm looking for? They never
the real process.
Yeah. So with that part right there, I could tell you 100% they slipped. And I'm pissed off. They slipped.
Or more like procedure. They didn't use the right procedure.
So you know what they didn't do? They never dug deep into the emergency wiretap like they should have, because the emergency wiretap was not even supposed to be involved in this case, brother. It has nothing to do with this case, brother. It's not supposed to even be there. So they can't fight what is not supposed to be in the case. Remember, that emergency wiretap has to do with a whole different case, a whole different thing. I wasn't charged for murder. I wasn't charged for organized crime. None of that. So that emergency wiretap has nothing to do with anything like that. So it should not have been in the case anyways. So that's why the lawyers never dug too deep into it.
Right.
But the way they never did it. Right? So cool. I got convicted. I went back for another trial. And in the trial, the next trial that I went to was after I already got a life sentence, right?
Right.
And they gave me a life sentence for attempted murder.
And not to interrupt you, can you give us like the exact amount of time that they gave you?
Oh man, I can't even count, bro. Hold on, man. Anxiety at its highest.
I'm sorry, man.
I get highest right now.
You know, just because we're doing something publicly, and like I feel like the people they need a little bit of a gauge to know like the severity of what's going on here, right?
They gave me numbers a human being can't even do. They gave me numbers that you see in America.
Yeah.
They gave me 100 years on paper, brother.
That's
100 years on paper, brother.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.